Welcome into your tiny reading for this week. I am T from Tiny Divinations, here to break down the cards with you. So, we have our three piles as usual. Pick the pile or piles you're most drawn to, or you can pick a number between 1 and 10, and the numbers for each pile will appear now. Follow the channel if you're not already, like the video if you're fucking with the reading, share it with somebody who needs a message, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome in group one. Let's get into your cards. So, the energy card that you picked is spiritual cleansing. The cards under that have to do with the specific things you got going on this week. So, we'll get into those later. In terms of the energy for your week, so we're starting off with removal, with cleansing, with removing to get rid of stuck energies, get rid of debris, get rid of things that have been cluttering up your space, your mind, your energy field, right? We have the Hamza in the card. So it's bringing in spiritual protection. So there's physical cleansing that needs to happen, and then there's spiritual cleansing that needs to happen. So that can look like taking spiritual baths, doing head washes. That could look like meditation. That could look like grounding. That could look like release work. That could look like a release bowl. That could also look like journaling. That could look like doing a somatic therapy. That could look like doing therapy in general to just, get things out of you, off of you, and working and moving through things is part of the energy that comes up with this card. In terms of spiritual cleansing as well, it could have to do with removing specific people from your life. It could have to do with cleansing your space or particular spaces that you inhabit or that you are in, so that energy is able to flow more easily. I was literally just having this conversation with my cousin the other day about how when we are in certain spaces energetically, that energy starts to build and kind of form its own entity in a sense. And we feed off of that energy in that space. We start to cultivate more of that energy because the space needs that energy kind of to survive, because that's the energy that it survives on. And so if you have been in a depressed state, excuse me, if you've been sitting in grief or mourning or stagnation or lack, or just like any negative vibrations for a long period of time, or you've been like cooping yourself up in a specific space, then that energy is being held in these spaces. It's being held on us. It's being held on specific objects and things. And so this week is definitely a time where you need to sit with what needs to be released, what needs to be cleansed, what needs to be removed, what needs the doors or the windows opened up, whether that's literally or figuratively. Where do we need to let some air into something? Um, excuse me, where do we need to get rid of it in general? So that is what I'm getting from the spiritual cleansing card. Let's get you a few more cards to see a little bit more of the energy of your week. All right. And I am using the Sacred Symbol Oracle deck. Okay, we have grounded, water, and psychic. We also had shift that fell on the floor. Okay, so we have grounded, water, psychic, shift. So there's a way in which there's an energy this week that we need to pick up anchor and move to new waters, right? We don't need to be grounded in certain spaces or places that we've been. We need to, like the spiritual cleansing card talked about, move that energy, remove that energy, shift things, release things so that things can flow more easily, right? We have the water card and an anchor card, which both are related to water, right? And there's this energy of shift and flow with the shift card, but also with the water, because water flows and it flows in different ways. And stagnant water causes, disease and filth and smells. You know what I mean? Like that's what I just was getting smells. And so part of the callback to the spiritual cleansing card and the water within that and the water within this is this need to like remove and move things. And with the psychic card, I feel like you've been getting spiritual nudges or like messages on what actually should be shifting right now, or what actually needs to be cleansed, or what actually needs to be removed, or where you're being stuck or feeling stuck, or what's holding you in certain places and spaces, and how you need to get from up under that. Maybe you don't know what you need to do, but it feels like there are nudges that people have been getting, there are messages that people have been getting, or thoughts that you've been thinking yourself about certain things needing to change, or certain things having you stuck, or certain things not allowing you to bring in the things or the energy, or that you would like to have. And all of that is being validated by these cards, and the need for you to like clean, remove, wash away, purify, bring back into yourself, into new spaces, into new light, is kind of what these cards bring to me. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the energy for your week. Let's move into the specific things that may happen. Okay, so the cards you had for the specific things that may happen this week are change and health. So some of the specific things that we have coming up for this week, again, we have this change energy. So there's definitely things for people that are going to shift, that need to shift, that may be removed out of your control. There may be unexpected events that happen this week that cause you to recognize that things need to change or shift, or that show you that things are already changing and shifting. It also may be that you get like some kind of opportunity this week. It definitely feels like it may be unexpected, especially because we have a five. That could be good or bad. You know, it's like things that are exciting can bring up, fears and anxieties and things like that. Um, just as much as things that are seen as, negative. So it just feels like it may just be things that shift unexpectedly or move unexpectedly. And that's part of why you have the water and the energy card, because you have to be like open to the flow of what happens. You have to be open to allowing things to happen and shifting with how they move, and recognizing what that means for you this week, and in terms of how you then need to move and work, right? We then have the health card, and part of the health card we had that spiritual cleansing. So again, there's a way in which this week is very specific to you getting back in alignment. Okay, there's something that is out of alignment, whether that's your spiritual health concerns or your physical health concerns, which would be like your mental health, your actual physical health. um, so it could be like over here with it, or over there with it, or all three, right? But there's some way in which there's something out of alignment for you, that's something out of whack, that you're recognizing that you need to do better on, or that you need to get back to, or that you need to start to put in, because of this stuck energy, because of the things that need to be removed, because of the things that are blocking you and not allowing you to flow in that way. So these things come up very specifically. The change may come up with your health, because we have these two cards together as well. But I see them more as kind of separate, but related. So let's get some more cards in terms of some specific things that you may be dealing with this week. Okay. Intuition, and we had the psychic card. So again, part of this change may be something that you recognize already. It may be something you were already thinking is going to happen. It may be something that you like heard in your head. It may be something you saw a sign about, or you got an intuition about, or somebody mentioned and you said, oh, that's not going to happen. Like, it's something that you may have already known. So pay attention to that, especially if it's something related to like your money or your work, or something to do with like the energy of somebody else. Also pay attention to your intuition as it concerns your health. Okay, so like if you're feeling like I need to get a second opinion, or I should go to the doctor for this, or this thing and these things might be related, even though in my doctor's opinion or in data, they say they're not normally related, but I feel like with me and my body, these things are related. Like, pay attention to these things, okay? Like, your intuition is on fire this week. You got a psychic card and an intuition card. So really pay attention to the things that you think, the things that happen in your gut, the things that come up for you in every way this week, but especially as it's related to your health and the things that are related to opportunities and change and things that can come up that you have intuition about or around. Then we have personal growth, new beginnings, and happy endings. Okay. So, once again, happy endings is letting me know something is changing. Something has already changed. Something is changing. You're about to find a new job. You've about to leave your job. You're about to find a new house and then leave your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like something comes, something ends. Something comes, something ends. And it may be that it happens this week, or it may be that it like gets percolating this week. It may be that it's like the culmination of that this week. There may be some people graduating as well, or like have just graduated and you're like moving. This is your first week not in school, or this is like, you transitioning into like being in a different space with it, or like being back home, or your kid being back home, or you know what I mean? Like something like that. In terms of the specific things that could be happening. That's just some examples of, but that's like the energy of it. Okay. And then you have this personal growth card in the background. So again, whatever is happening is something that's like pushing something forward. It's something pushing something forward in your life. It's pushing your family forward. It's pushing your career forward. It's pushing your spiritual self forward and what you want to do. It's like you're recognizing where you've been stunted. You're recognizing where you want to go. You're recognizing how you can get somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's like there's a lot of eye-opening things happening this week. There's a lot of movement happening this week, and there's a lot of expansion that can happen, as well as like the endings. But it's like, again, it's like it's ending to open, ending to open. That's like very much the energy of this pile, or this group, and this week. So this is what I'm getting in terms of the specific things that may happen this week. Let's wrap your reading up with some words of wisdom. So these words of wisdom cards come from the Universe Has Your Back deck. So this week's message comes from the Universe Has Your Back deck. So the cards we have: I witness the darkness and call on the light with my prayer. Thank you, universe, for guiding me to perceive this fear through the eyes of the teacher of love. I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that what I focus on will grow. So this makes a lot of sense to me. We're cleansing off the darkness. We're cleansing off the fear. We're cleansing off the muck of what was before, of what was keeping us stuck. And we're moving into the light. We're moving with faith. We're moving guided by our psychic senses, our intuition, and our connection with spirit. Okay. So these are your words of wisdom for this week. And this was your reading, group one. So thank you so much for reading with me. I appreciate y'all so much. Let me know how your week is. Let me know how this message resonates. Let me know what's going on. Share this message with somebody that needs a word. Follow the channel, like the reading. If you aren't already following our podcast, follow Tiny Musings with T on Apple Podcasts, on Substack, on Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We have our monthly tiny readings as well as our other episodes. If you'd like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Follow me here and on Instagram at Tiny Divinations. And thank you so much again. If you have another pile or you picked another number, I will see you in that reading. And if not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in, group two. Let's get into your cards. So the first card that you have is the energy card, and you chose divinity. The cards we have under that are related to specific things that will happen this week. So we'll get back to those. In terms of the energy for your week, there's a magic to your week, right? You have the key, you have the ability to open doors for yourself, you have the ability to have people say yes to you. It feels like you feel light, you're walking lighter, you're walking with like a joy and a happiness and like a zhuzh to you this week. It may be one of those things or all of those things. It feels like you're feeling good. It definitely feels like you have the energy of spirit with you. It may be that for some people that it's specifically like a magical week for you because you're having very kismet moments or very spiritual moments. You're seeing moments of connection. So all of this stuff can be a part of the energy that you have for your week. The symbol on the card is the Norris rune for love. So it may also be a very love filled week for you this week. You may be feeling a lot of love. You may be receiving a lot of love. You may be feeling in love, like, romantic type love. You may be feeling lustful this week. You may just be feeling a rush of passion or support or nurture energy. So, all of that is involved with the divinity card that we have. Let's get a few more cards for the energy of your week. Okay, so I'm using the sacred symbol cards to get a few more cards for our week. Okay. So we have lucky, power, and release. Okay. The energy that we are cultivating again is magical, right? You have lucky here. So there's energy this week again for you to get things, for you to receive gifts, for you to have things open up for you to receive abundance, for you to have things just work out for you, for people to just say yes to you. You also have power. So within that luck, you have power. There may be energy of authority within what you get to receive, or you may be able to utilize your power to open the doors for you, have things happen for you, um, have things work out in the best ways for you this week. You have the release card as well, so there may be something about like calling back your power or standing back in your power that comes up this week as well. There may be magic in calling back your power and calling back your energy and recognizing situations where you don't have the power or autonomy that you should or you would like, and removing or releasing those things. There may be workings that you want to do to actually do that, to release the things, to release energetic hooks, to remove yourself from situations, to build your power, to call your power back to you. There may be magical situations where you want to utilize this energy to bring in luck. Like I said, to enhance your power, to enhance the power of the luck energy that you want to do, to enhance the power of the release work that you want to do. So, like, all of that is involved within this week. There's also like this boot in this release card. So there's energy of just like kicking something, where it may be like kicking something off, kicking something out, kicking something away, kicking a habit. I was drawn to the boot specifically. I know it's not necessarily a boot; it's really just the end of this dagger or this knife. But to me, it kind of looks like a boot. So there's also something. There's energy for us to like kick something or remove something, or like have it be pushed away, or have us disconnect from something this week. So all of that comes into the cards that we have for this energy. Let's move into some specific things that we have going on this week. So the cards we have for the specific things that may happen this week are completion and spiritual partnerships. So completion, like the release card that we have, definitely signifies that there is something that we need to let go of, something that is being released this week, something that may end, whether it's unexpectedly or expectedly. It may be something that has just run its course. It may be that like there's a contract that's up, or like I said in the first pile, there may be people that are graduating or have just graduated, people that are leaving situations. You may be like moving literally to somewhere else. You may be wanting to move on to something else. You may be having the impetus to move on this week, or recognizing that something needs to end, or what needs to be released that we talked about in the energy, and how you can, kind of bring this phase to an end. So that's part of what comes up with the completion card. It may also be about things that you've outgrown. It may be about karmic lessons coming up this week. It may also be you recognizing that you're on a new path and that there are new places and spaces or relationships for you to forge. So, again, all of this is what comes up with completion. Then we have the spiritual partnership card. So, there's a way in which this week there may be somebody that you meet that can either open doors for you, that can teach you things, that can help you with networking, somebody that you just click with, that you become instant friends with, somebody that you just met recently that you start to forge a deeper friendship with this week. It may be that you're seeking like a mentor or teacher relationship, and you start to look for that this week, or you like reach out to somebody to um, get advice for something. You may have been looking for connections, whether that's connections for like your spiritual practice or things you're trying to initiate into. It may be that you were looking for connections into the field that you're in, or a field that you're trying to get into. It may be that, like I said, you're trying to make connections with people who are like minded, people who are in your area, things like that. This is definitely a good week for that. It may already happen organically, but if not, and you've been thinking about that, it may be definitely the time to like seek it out. Okay. Let's pull a few more cards to get some more specific things that may happen this week. Okay. Okay, funny. We got intuition in the last one. We got change in the last pile as well. That's okay. Individuality, health. I swear, y'all, I am shuffling. I really am. And y'all see them popping out. Okay. Okay, so we have intuition, change, individuality, health, and karmic completion. So some of the specific things we have are doubles in a sense, right? We have completion, we have karmic completion, and then we have change. So we definitely have things that are ending this week. We have things that are shifting. We have recognitions of lessons that have been learned and ways in which we need to move forward from these lessons, right? All of that is within these cards, and they're specifically very much lessons that are being learned, whether it's figurative change or literal change that's happening this week. There are things that you are supposed to take from this. There are things that you're supposed to leave in this place, um, and move forward without. There are ways in which you need to recognize the growth, and the wisdom that you have gained from the place or the situation or the person or whatever it is. All of that comes with these cards. Okay. Those are definitely specific things that happen this week. We have intuition, which we also had, like I said, in the first pile. So if any way you are drawn to pile one, you may want to go watch that reading. There may be things that resonate in that message as well. We had, like I said, intuition. And so paying attention to the nudges we get, especially when it comes to the lessons we've learned, the things that are over, the things that are changing, the things that we no longer want, the things that don't feel right for us anymore, the things that, make our energy shift. These are all things that we need to pay attention to this week and move in kind, okay? And not have fears around, or not have excuses around having to move on from. We have the health card, and in the um, we have the health card, and there's an energy of specifically needing to detox, remove, change things this week, but also making sure that we make like initiatives and change in taking care of ourselves in terms of our mental health, in terms of self-care, in terms of just like taking initiative. You know what I mean? It also may be that this week you like call somebody in to help you in terms of your health, right? You take your um, best friend to the gym, you call in a nutritionist, or you work with herbalist or a doctor, or you know what I mean, like you form a relationship with somebody that helps you to do something about your health. You look for a therapist or something like that, you know what I mean? Or you start to forge a relationship with people that you're already working with in these spaces, whether it's like health or mental wellness or spiritual spaces, right? You start to forge more of a relationship, or more of a practice around things, okay? Then you have individuality, and it feels like there's a way in which there are things like a spotlight put on you this week. You had all those cards kind of in the energy that was bringing luck and power. And so there's definitely a way that the things that you do, the way in which you do them, your skills, your talents are put on display this week, or you get to put them on display, or you get to harness them and show them in a way that like you can see how you've grown, or you can see how you're developing your own niche, or you're um, like recognizing something very like special about you, or other people are recognizing something very special about you that may be a part of the change that you see, or maybe why you see a change come in this week. And it may also be part of what you take from the karmic completion, or the completion cards that we have. So this is what I'm getting from specifically the things that may happen this week. Let's end your reading with some words of wisdom. Okay, so our words of wisdom come from the Universe Has Your Back deck. Joy is the ultimate creator. When I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. Mm-hmm. So surrendering into the things that need to be released, the things that we want to change, surrendering in to the lessons that have been learned, taking joy and love into our week, into how we walk, into everything we are, into our being, allowing who we are to shine and, you know, um, be the thing that leads us, and be the first thing that people see, and be the thing that draws people in. So these are your words of wisdom for this week, group 2. And this was your reading. So please let me know about your week. Thank you so much for being here and reading with me. Let me know how the messages resonate. Let me know what's going on. Let me know all about the luck and the opportunities that you get this week. If you would like your own reading, book with me at wildheartbotanica.com. Follow the channel, like the reading, and share it with somebody who needs the message. Follow the podcast, Tiny Musings with T, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Substack, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We have our monthly reading, part 1 and 2 are out right now. We have our other episodes, so definitely subscribe and follow me on Instagram at Tiny Divination. So again, thank y'all so much for being here. Let me know how the messages resonate. If you have another reading, I will see you there. If not, I will see you in our next reading. Welcome in group 3. Let's get into your cards. So, the energy that you have for the week is soulmate. The cards that are under that are actually dealing with the specific things that you have for this week. So, we'll get back to those. In terms of your energy, we have soulmate, which brings in romance, it brings in kismet connections and kismet things happening. It brings in things happening on a soul level. It brings in the energy of love and connection and understanding and nurturing. It could bring in gifts. It brings in deep feelings. It brings in what feels like also community this week. So, soulmate could be a specific person, it could be connections within a group, it could be within what you're doing and just feeling it really resonate with with your soul, with things you've been wanting to do, with your passion, something that really fulfills you. It could be a literal relationship, or having the energy of partnership, or real connection, or deep understanding this week. Deep conversations could be happening, a way in which you may be enmeshing yourself with somebody else, whether, like I said, that's romantic or outside of romantic. It could be like a partnership type energy. We had spiritual partnership as a card in the last group. So it may be like similar to that. It could also just signify you being around somebody that you have a deep connection with this week, you spending time with them, you also forming deeper connections with people that you maybe just met, or people that you know, that maybe you have like a conversation or something happens where you get to know each other on a different level. So, this is part of what I'm getting with our soulmate card. Let's get a few more cards to get a little bit more of the energy for the week. Okay. Okay, so we have water, meditate, veiled, and new moon. So what's interesting is we had water in one of the previous piles, and it was about flow and change and things like that. And in this iteration of water, with the energy we have for this group's week, it feels like it's more about stillness, especially with it next to the meditate card. There's energy this week for us to bring in a patience. There's energy of stillness. There's energy of kind of being still to hear things, being still to see things, being still to have things uncovered, to have things clear, to shine a light on things for you, to be able to recognize where there may be issues or problems, for you to kind of see the things that have been pushed under or pushed away, or kind of tucked like under the rug in a sense, you know what I mean? And for you to kind of suss those things out, or for you to recognize or see things that you may have overlooked because other things were happening. And now that things have cleared out, or now that things are more calm, or you're able to stand still, you're able to see things that you may not have seen before, or you're able to see things in a way that you weren't able to see it before. You know what I mean? Like a situation in a way, or a person in a way that you weren't able to see it before, or yourself in a way that you weren't able to see it before. So, like, all of this comes up with that. There may be things that come up this week that pop up in your unconscious, that you need to deal with or work through, that you're unexpecting. It may be something that comes up in general this week that is news that you didn't know, or things get uncovered, or something that you've been thinking. Or you had like an intuition about gets validated for you, could also come up. We have the veiled and the new moon card. So like we could also have, like I said, this shadows that are obscuring things that if we take time and sit still and meditate on, we can see. Okay, so it's not that things are obscured this week. It feels like that that it's not that things are being hidden and like we won't be able to see them this week. It feels like if there are things being hidden from us, or there are things that have been hidden, it comes to light and comes out if we are able to like sit and be quiet and sit still and look and not speak. You know what I mean? Like that's the ways in which we can figure out and find out these things that, the information we don't have, the things that have been unclear, the things that we have had intuitions about that we need validated, things that we may not have even known about that may need to get answered, or we need to, find out about. So like all of that comes up with these cards. With the meditate card, it could be literally implementing meditation and meditative techniques into your week this week. There may be energy for you to do grounding meditations. There may be energy for you to do guided meditations. You may want to do moving meditations. And I feel like if you do that and you really leave yourself open to that, and you put in the time and you clear your mind, then again, you'll get information this week, whether it's things that, like I said, have been obscured or things that you just weren't clear on. And answers and messages, can come to you very clearly and very quickly if you allow it to. And if you, again, sit in the stillness, if you open your mind, if you don't allow the thoughts to kind of overrun um, the space that you're creating within stillness. Okay. So that is what I'm getting in terms of the energies of this week. Let's move into some specific things that may happen. So, the cards we have for the specific things that may happen this week: forgiveness, environment, and teaching and learning. Okay, so specifically with the forgiveness card, it made me think when I pulled this card that there may be something that happens this week where somebody kind of just fucks up. You fuck up, somebody else fucks up, somebody makes a mistake, there's a miscommunication. There's something that may happen this week where it's just like a mishap. It's just a mistake. It's just the energies of the right now. It's not like long lost resentments or something like that. And like we need to come back and decide what we're going to do in the situation. Are we going to forgive them? Are we going to forgive ourselves? How are we able to do that? How do we communicate that? Okay. What is the best way to go about that? And all of that also comes into me with the colors. You have the blue, which is signifying the throat chakra, okay, and then the purple or the violet, which has to do with the third eye and the crown chakra. So it's like being able to communicate your disappointments or being able to communicate how you messed up, knowing when and what's the right way to do that, when is the right time to do that. Um, Having the initiative and the knowing to be able to be selfless enough to do that. You know what I mean? Like all of that comes in with this week. There may be something that happens where you have to forgive a situation or a place in which you were in order to move on to something else, in order to release something. It may be something that you like work on this week or something that comes up this week that you wind up journaling about or you talk about in therapy or you have a conversation with somebody about finally after a while. You know what I mean? You're able to come back and recognize that this is something that needs to happen for, again, you to be able to move forward. You have the environment card. And so the environment card to me specifically had to do with less to do with like outside and nature and more to do with the spaces and places that you're in and you are this week, being very conscious and intentional about the environments that you're in, um, being mindful of the energies that you're around, being mindful of how you feel in these places. Do you feel better in these places? Do you feel good? Do you feel expansive? Do you feel the opposite of those things? Um, Recognizing why you may be in these environments and how that might be tied to the things that we need to let go and forgive or to move, to move through and heal from so that we can find ourselves in different places and environments or that we can have that want for that. This also may have something to do with like literal environments in terms of nature and like your space. You may want to do some renovations in terms of like bringing in greenery or like plants or brightness or growing things, or like cleaning your windows. Some people need to clean their windows to bring in the light or something like that. Or like if it's been raining, you want to collect rainwater or like there's something naturey, but it's like you and nature more so than you like going out in nature, um, in terms of what I'm getting from that. Then we have the teaching and learning card. So again, there's potential for you to learn something this week that may deal with forgiveness, that may deal with something that happens and that teaches you a lesson of like what to do, what not to do, what somebody is capable of, what you're capable of, things like that. Teaching and learning may also come up because you may be like taking a class this week. You may have an activity that you're doing. It may be something that you're wanting to like research or learn more about. And this is a good week to do that, especially to like retain the information or to get started on that. This is a week where it seems like there's an energy of like wisdom. So you may be teaching somebody, there may be lessons in, like I said, forgiveness. May be lessons in your environment, what you like about your environment, what your environment needs, what needs to change about your environment. There may be lessons that people are teaching you, or ways in which you're teaching people, even in like life lessons, things like that. So like there's a couple of different ways that all of this can come about, but that is what I'm getting from these cards for specific things that may happen. So this is what I'm getting from the specific things that may happen this week. Let's move into some words of wisdom. Okay, so getting some words of wisdom for this week, I'm using The Universe Has Your Back. Okay. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. Let's see if there's anything else. Let's do the top. I recognize I have chosen fear, and I choose again. I choose love. So these are our words of wisdom for this week, y'all. I think they make a lot of sense. There may be some things that happen, okay, but they're all lessons, it's all information. And um, instead of choosing fear, we choose love. We can choose again. We have a new day. We have new moments. We don't have to stay in what's happened. We can choose to forgive ourselves and forgive others and move forward. Okay. So, this is what I'm getting for your week, y'all. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to break down these cards with you. If you have another reading, I will see you there. Wait, no, my bad. I fucked up. Thank you so much for reading with me. Thank you for allowing me to break down these cards with you. Let me know how your week is. Let me know how these messages resonate. Let me know what lessons happened this week. If you aren't already following the channel, follow here. Send the message to somebody that needs the message. Like the video. If you'd like your own personal reading, book with me at ballheartbotanica.com. If you aren't already following our podcast, follow Tiny Musings with T on Substack, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our May collectives are both out right now. And yeah, thank you so much. If you have another group, I will see you there. And if not, I will see you in our next reading.